This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme and Corona pandemic. The participants are Rohit Kumar, Joint Secretary in Ministry of Rural Development, and Aditi Tandon, journalist.
India's rural sector is showing definite signs of revival after the COVID-19 induced lockdown. This was in fact also anticipated when the Ministry of Home Affairs in its first unlocking guideline that was to roll out from April 20 onwards had included some activities for opening up. And you might remember, Mr. Rohit, that at that time, the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act was in the activity that was opened up, and the idea was that India's rural economy will actually power the urban economy going forward. Already, signs of revival are actively visible across the rural sector, and a latest report from CRISIL has shown that average income under Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act has actually increased. And it has said the average income per month for unskilled workers has doubled to around 1,000 per month during the first 4 months of the current fiscal. So this is a very important and positive sign going forward. And would you agree that rural economy will ultimately drive the urban economy after the COVID impact is over and even midway?
What you have said is absolutely correct. Because when the COVID pandemic started, it was generally in the March end last week, and that time really it was a very difficult time for all of us. And because of that, April month, as far as Mahatma Gandhi NREGA is concerned, shown a little dip. But the moment the lockdown that enabled us opening up of community work with subject to social distancing, the percentage generation under the program has increased month after month. In the month of May, if we compare it with last year May, it was 11% increase. If we compare this year June to last year June, the increase percentage was as high as 81%. If we compare July of this year to the last year July, the increase in percentage generation was 144%. Then in August, 103%. Then thereafter, and overall, if we compare from April to 24th August this year to the same period of the last year, the overall increase in percentage is 41%. Last year we had around 130 crore percentage generated during this time, and this year we have already generated 184 crore percentage. And as far as funds are concerned, this year the budget was 61,500 crore, the annual budget. But because of the COVID pandemic and looking at the problem of the returning migrant and similarly affected people, Honorable Finance Minister enhanced the provisioning under Mahatma Gandhi NREGA by additional 40,000 crore. Our annual budget is more than 1 lakh crore. We already have released 57,000 crore to the rural sector under Mahatma Gandhi NREGA. Definitely this money going to the rural people, it will have a multiplier effect, and definitely it will pull up the urban economy.
It is also expected that rural India's dependence on MGNREGA wages for survival is going to keep increasing in the times to come also, simply because the migrant workers, which are estimated to be around 4 crore across India, had to return home after the lockdown due to COVID, and urban economy is not showing signs of revival. What are the plans going forward, because migrants continue to stay in villages, and village economy also through MGNREGA and other agricultural and allied activities is going to get a lot of financial spur. Is there any immediate plan for future, because it's looking quite good right now as you explained?
This is true what you have said, because a lot of returning migrants, they have come back from the urban area to the rural area, and because of that, the dependence on Mahatma Gandhi NREGA has increased. And definitely in the months to come, it will show similar kind of trend, but as the urban economy, it will revive, definitely the pressure will ease out. But apart from Mahatma Gandhi NREGA, central government had started Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan, which Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated the campaign on 29th June, which is again aimed at giving employment opportunity to the returnee migrant and similarly affected people in 100 districts of the country wherein the migrant population returnee was higher. And this Abhiyan is for 125 days in 116 districts, focusing on 25 works, and the resource envelope which is available for these 125 days is 50,000 crore. And the twin aim of this Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan is to provide employment opportunity to such people and in course of time, creation of durable assets and rural infrastructure which will strengthen the economy. And I'm happy to share with you, till today, we already have spent more than 19,000 crore under this Abhiyan, and till date, more than 25 crore percentage have been generated in these 116 districts. So this is another very high campaign, and this is focusing on 25 works like works of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, that is the Awas, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana, that is the rural connectivity, railway works of telecom, that is laying of optical fiber, and then PM Kusum, Bharatmala, that is national highway work, Tampa work, Jal Jeevan Mission, Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, that is construction of community sanitary complex, and 15th Finance Commission Fund, and Syama Prasad Mukherjee Urban Mission, and many other works which have been taken, in total 25 works. So this campaign is also giving impetus and providing opportunity and creating rural infrastructure, which is definitely going to boost the economy.
So clearly there are complementary schemes in agricultural, allied and rural sectors that are advising and guiding government's thrust in this area. The crisis report, Mr. Kumar, is also very significantly pointing out that the average per day wage increased by 12% during the period under review, which is the COVID pandemic period. And the report further goes on to say that the push to the scheme has been higher in some states as compared to some other states. So if I could just ask, what we learned from the field is that Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Bengal, Orissa and Gujarat, these states' work allocation under NREGA increased by more than 50% in the first 4 months. How are the states placed on NREGA allocations? How are the states responding to government's thrust on NREGA to fight the COVID pandemic-induced economic crisis?
Wherever the demand is there, we are capturing the demand in 15 days and we have to provide them work. Now, as far as you said, the state of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Rajasthan, MP, they have shown very high percentage over the last year during the same period. So this is primarily because of the returnee migrant which has come back, showing a very high demand. So wherever we have the returnee migrant, in large proportion they have come back, and similarly affected people which are higher in number, they are definitely asking more work, and it is a demand driven, so we are providing more work. In very few states where the demand is not that high of last year, but it is again demand driven, so the way demand is coming and we are meeting out the demand.
Mr. Kumar, you would remember when the Prime Minister Garib Kalyan Yojana was announced, that Yojana included a relief measure for NREGA workers, and the daily wage rate under NREGA was set to be increased from rupees 182 per day to 202 per day. And this was to be effective from 1st of April 2020. Once down had to be eased after that, and recovery process had to be started in the rural areas. What has been the progress around that?
During the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, wage rate were revised. Revision has been done in every state. And there is a range. The average revision, you're right, this was around 20 rupees. 182 average to 202 average. And I'm happy to share, as against 202 average, right now, as on today, the country average is around 98. So definitely it is around 18 to 20 rupees higher than that of last year. And all the states, they have shown increase over the last year average wage which were being provided to the workers. And Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan also for the returnee migrant and similarly affected people in 116 districts. In that also, because of the pressure of migrant labours and all, not only the percentage generation has increased, also the average wage rate per day per wage seeker, it has also increased. And I'm happy to share, it's a privilege for me. I am the central coordinator of this Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan. It's my privilege to be the central coordinator of this Abhiyan.
Mr. Kumar, since NREGA is helping increase rural wages, is there any thinking in the government to increase the number of days of work?
Mahatma Gandhi NREGA not only focuses on providing employment, it also focuses on creation of durable assets. And when I talk of durable assets, in the last 6 years, we have constructed farm ponds, 20 lakh farm ponds worth 1,972 crore. We have constructed 4.2 lakh check dams worth 15,000 crore. In the last 6 years, we have constructed trenches worth 12,000 crore, around 3.78 lakh trenches. 6.91 lakh cattle sheds we have constructed worth 4,300 crore. 1.65 lakh goat sheds we have constructed worth 1,000 crore. 11 lakh vermicompost pits worth 2,700 crore we have constructed. And we are also providing 90 days of labor while construction of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin works. We have constructed Anganwadi Center. We have constructed Gram Panchayat. We have constructed gravel roads. A lot of rural infrastructure and durable assets are also being created under this Mahatma Gandhi NREGA, which is definitely adding to the rural economy and adding to the livelihood, especially the goat shed, cattle shed, vermicompost pit, horticulture plantation, another plantation, farm ponds, fish ponds. So they are adding to the rural economy. That is one. Secondly, that whether government is contemplating to increase 100 days to 200 days. As of today, it is not. Whenever it is there on the card, I'll definitely let you know.
Mr. Kumar, the states are also free to increase the number of days from 100 onwards. Some states have done it, like Odisha.
The Act envisages at least 100 days of guaranteed employment. So the central government is committed to do it and we are doing it. Odisha has done it. Himachal Pradesh has done it. To some community, Rajasthan has also done it. So there are states who are coming up and giving more than 100 days, and that is most welcome.
Mr. Kumar, most of these works under Mahatma Gandhi NREGA scheme involve hard physical labor. And the Health Ministry guidelines with respect to COVID-19 management have made wearing of masks mandatory for everybody who goes into the public for any kind of work. There are a number of health experts who have advised that during hard physical activity, people should actually not wear masks because it can cause breathing difficulty.
The moment this COVID pandemic was declared, we issued an advisory. One, that the social distancing has to be maintained. Two, we already have a provision to keep soap and water so that the workers can have repeated hand wash at the work site. Three, we have already issued advisory to have homemade masks. So it is the homemade mask which is not costing them much. So all our workers, they are using homemade masks. We are providing them soap and water at every work site, and they are also maintaining physical distance, the social distancing norms.
So as we wind up the program, we should also discuss the fact that the International Labour Organization recently had taken a very positive note of MGNREGA when it was analyzing social protection schemes across the world. And in respect of India's MGNREGA program, ILO has said that it's a program that can accelerate the transition to a greener economy as part of an infrastructure-led investment for recovery under the COVID pandemic. Have you taken note of that?
There are 262 permissible works under Mahatma Gandhi NREGA, and out of that, 182 works are on NRM, Natural Resource Management. And I'm very happy to share that 76% of my funds this year is being spent on natural resource management work, that is plantation and soil and water conservation and green work. And this is around 14% higher than that of the previous year, wherein it was 62%. So definitely Mahatma Gandhi NREGA is also having an impact on greener economy.
So clearly not only NREGA helping the economy, it is also helping making India green. So on that note, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme amid Corona pandemic. The participants were Rohit Kumar, Joint Secretary in Ministry of Rural Development, and Aditi Tandon, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our website newsonair.com. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.